everyone, this is Jared Chandonnet with JS Fitness. Today I'm going to be going over my origin story on episode 1 and what I want to do with this program. So start off, I am 36 years old. I've been working out for about 20 years. And in those 20 years, I competed for, I think, 10 years. So I have a little bit of knowledge on training and nutrition and dieting. And the way I go about it is kind of off the hinges. Not a lot of people do it nowadays. There's a lot of fads going around with training, nutrition, blah, blah, blah. I like to stick to the basics. The simplest, easiest things work. They are completely boring. Nobody wants to do them, but they do work. So I want to push that on this programming because I feel like it's somehow lost over the years. There's a lot of the hardcore guys, they do all the basics, but you're not seeing this new generation with their TikTok workouts and TikTok nutrition going over just how to build a solid base to begin with. They're all about aesthetics, and that's not how I grew up. All I watched was freaks. Aesthetics was kind of second place, goes along with genetics. Everyone was just trying to get jacked back then. I just want to bring back more of that because there's a lot of youngsters taking over, which is great. I'm glad everyone's into fitness, but everyone's losing the foundation of how it all started, I suppose. And it's a lost art, which I would love to bring back. So I'll start off with my origin. I am 36, male. I identify as he, his, him, whatever those pronouns are. Everyone's chit chatting about nowadays. Um, I've been, working out for 20 years, competing for 10. I got into fitness through high school strength training gym, which was for athletes. So if you played football, basketball, track, baseball, so on, you could join strength training gym. And instead of playing dodgeball and chucking balls at people's balls, you could go into the gym and learn the basics of working out. And before that, I had no idea what a bench press was. I had no idea what a squat was, deadlift, anything. I don't think I ever touched a weight as a child until I got to high school. No one in my family was really into uh, fitness or working out or anything like that. I mean, my mom did some jazzercise workouts in the living room, blasting music. That was about all I knew about fitness, and I just thought she was dancing. So, my introduction in high school was kind of eye opening. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say I was obsessed with it. And throughout high school, I kind of had depression, I would say. I don't know. It was probably more so along with hormones and growing up, not knowing what I wanted to do, being pushed into college, which I did not like. I just didn't like school. I don't like having to memorize everything. I enjoyed math, science, everything else I disliked. So after high school, I went into college. That was the first time I saw anyone who was jacked in my life in the massive college gym. There was a group of guys who were roided out of their minds, jacked as all get out, and I thought it was the coolest shit ever. These guys were leg pressing like, I don't even know. In my mind, it was like 5,000 pounds, squatting, shit ton, benching like 700 pounds. I was like, how in the hell? And then there's scrawny old me. I think I weighed like 160 going into college. I saw those guys. I really got into lifting. All I did was eat in college and drink and work out, and that was it. And then I eventually drank too much, didn't go to class, got kicked out of school, and then I started in the workforce, which was uh, work. The earlier you start, the worse it is because you have 60 years of it ahead of you. Anyways, I really got into lifting after picking up Muscular Development and Flex magazine. Seeing like Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman on the cover, and I was like, how on earth can a person get this massive? It seemed crazy to me. So I never thought I would get that big. Just like every man who starts working out, I thought it was just looked ugly as hell, but it was cool as hell, if that makes sense. I always said, I don't want to get that big. I don't want to get big. I only want to get to like 200 and that's it. Then I got to 200. Then I wanted to get to 210. Then it was 220. Then it was 230. Then it was 240. Then it was 250 and so on. I think the biggest I got was like 265. I looked like a fridge at the time. I was like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but hey, I can say I got up to 260 plus, which is cool, I suppose. Not a lot of people can do that. Well, not a lot of people can do that when they're trying to build muscle. I mean, you can get that big, uh, but muscular wise, it is pretty difficult, I would say. My first competition, I never wanted to do bodybuilding. I thought it was funny. You're up on stage in a G string, prancing around, oiled up. I thought it was ridiculous, but there's not much you can do with strength training if you're not going to be a power lifter, strongman, all of that. Uh I'm not that strong. I'm stronger than the average, but I'm not a power lifter. I don't like just being able to say, "Oh, I can bench 700 pounds," squat 800. I rather look like it. I never squatted that much. I would just do high reps, high volume. Big believer on volume training because you don't want to get injured in bodybuilding. Is the worst thing that can happen. If you tear a muscle, tear your bicep, tear your tricep, tear your chest. It's visibly, it's just visibly ugly, in my opinion. When you're on stage and you have torn muscles, you can hide it a little bit, but everyone's gonna notice it instantly because you're in a G string on a stage and you're oiled up and the lights are bright and you can see every fiber in your body. So I'm a big believer on volume training. My volume training, uh, when I'm getting ready to compete, is probably insane to most people. I will do up to 6 sets, 15, 20 rep sets, and I will be in the gym for 2 to 3 hours, which is way more than I normally go. In the off season, I usually sit in there for 40 minutes to 50 minutes. I'm in and out. I just do basic movements. In the off season, I'll do low reps for a couple sets, and then I just pump out a ton of volume, get as much blood into the muscle after I tear it, just to stretch out the fascia. I'm a big believer on stretching the fascia out, makes more room for muscle, reduces injury. I don't have elbow problems. I don't have knee problems. I've always had back problems, but that is a complete different story. It's something I was born with, so my back will always hurt. Fight through it. Uh, so yeah, I got into my first competition when I was 23 years old. I think 23, 22. I don't know, something like that. Anyways, I did my first show. I was like 186, 185 pounds, so I did light heavyweight. There's a ton of people in light heavyweight. I ended up winning my class at my first show, and I lost the overall. Obviously, it was my first show, so I wasn't experienced. My posing was bad. My tan was not dark enough. I looked super white on stage. What else? I just remember a lot of the older guys being mad because I beat them, which was funny because it was my first show. I was 23, and most of the guys that were on stage were my age now, so 30 plus. They'd been working out forever, and some young chump comes in and beats them, which was funny to me, and they were mad. But it is what it is. Sorry, guys. And after that one show, I was hooked. So then I just try to get as big as possible. I've done, I think, like 6 or 7 shows. I like to take long breaks in between. I'm not a huge advocate of taking tons of performance enhancing drugs for years on end or competing a ton. There's a lot of guys who will compete at like every show in the state all year round, which to me is mind-boggling because your body needs a rest. If you're going to do that, you're going to look exactly the same at every show. You might get leaner, you might peak a little bit better and all that, but you're not going to grow, which bodybuilding is in my mind. You're supposed to progress in some way, shape, or form. If you're not getting a ton more muscle, then just adding a tiny bit. If your arms are lacking, or your quads are lacking, your calves are lacking, just adding a little bit, just refining yourself each time, looking better each time. Posing should improve. All of that should improve. So I'm not an advocate of pumping out as many shows as you can just so you can collect all these trophies. Like I have behind me, if you can see over my right shoulder, that was the last show I did, which I'm going to show a short video. It's mostly pictures, but it'll go over my transition or transformation on my last show, which is the purpose of this whole show. You can follow along with me as I diet from start to end. This time it'll be a little bit different than the last time. The last time I didn't work out for, I think, like a year and a half before I started training, and within a year I did a show. So I went from 180 pounds, I got up to 240 pounds, and then I dieted down. I stayed semi lean the whole time, and then after I hit 240, I cut down for the show, and I think I competed at like 210. So I don't know how much muscle I gained. It was a lot, but before then I had 15 years of straight training. You're never gonna lose your like core muscle mass on your body frame. It'll shrivel up, but as soon as you start training again and you know exactly what to do, you know your body, you'll blow up quick. So muscle memory is for real. So I'm gonna pop over to that one because this time, instead of just taking update photos, I'm gonna have videos of the entire process of what I eat, how I train. I'm gonna give you guys all the basics on lifting, dieting, all that crap. So here we go. Flip over to this one. So as you can see, this is when I started. If my cursor's up there. So I still have, genetically, my traps are uh pretty big, so I still have a little bit of trap. This is after my divorce. I was sad. Boo hoo. um so I didn't want to work. I didn't work out. I wasn't taking any performance enhancing drugs for a year and a half. I was a sad boy. So I shrunk. My arms are deflated. You can still kind of see like it deflated, but it wasn't insane. I still have like some, you can tell I used to be built, I suppose. But when I started, this was the beginning. First day working out, I'm super happy. This is kind of crazy. This is what, 3 months. I will say the first month or two are the absolute worst. So I didn't want to go to the gym. My buddy dragged me to the gym. So I didn't want to go because I knew like it sucks. Like your whole body hurts, your joints hurt, everything hurts. You don't want to work out. You're sore the whole time. But after the first month or two, then your body starts to recover way quicker. You don't get sore, and you just enjoy working out again. Obviously, I was taking some performance enhancing drugs. I am not going to go over at this time what I was taking. I'll just say it wasn't a ton. I'm not big on taking a ton. I never want. I have children, so my health is important. So I'm not an advocate on taking a shit ton of stuff just to get jacked as fuck as quick as possible. But I still got jacked real quick. So this is 3 months. I would say after the first month, I felt good, and then I blew up after month two. I just started growing and growing and growing. And again, that's like the muscle memory I was talking about. Because I already had the muscle on my frame to begin with. So I think right here I was like probably like 220. So I gained, well, no, I was probably like 210. So I started at 180. So I think I gained, yeah, I was gaining like 10 pounds a month in the beginning. First month I gained 10 pounds, second month 20, third month 30. And then after 5 months, I think I was like 220, 230 here, getting a little bit bigger. 6 months, I think I was like probably 230, about the same. I was just getting a little bit leaner. Um, yeah, my leg. I will say, uh, not working out for. I don't think I worked out for like 2 years. My knees, my knees like hurt so bad. Like I couldn't. I think the most I squatted for this was like 405 for like one, because my knees hurt so bad it felt like they were gonna like pop, which is weird. But I think it was just putting on the weight so quickly. For whatever reason, my knees were not having it. Probably from walking around, because I was working in a factory, walking like 5 miles a day. So that didn't help, obviously. Then we go on to the next one. That's still like 6 months, getting leaner. 8 months, starting to lean out or staying the same weight. I think at 6 months, I hit like 240. So that was my limit. And I started cutting down for the show. So I'm getting a lot leaner, obviously. And 10 months, this one is, this one, I don't know. I was surprised at how I looked. And it's crazy looking at it now. Because when you're dieting, you think everything is bad. So I always critique my arms are small. I should have more lats. My inner thighs aren't big enough. Everyone doesn't like their calves, but looking back on this, I'm surprised my legs are that big, because I couldn't squat much. I was just doing high reps on squat, which um will pump a lot of blood into them. I think it's mostly muscle memory that my legs stayed uh big, because they did not feel good. And the weirdest thing is, as soon as I did the show and right after, I was squatting uh 500 some again, and my knees didn't hurt. It was like my knees decided to hurt the entire time I was doing my transformation up until I competed, and then when I was done, uh they just they just said, "Hey, we're ready. Now we're good," which kind of sucked. That's like pretty close. I don't know why I don't have my shirt all the way off, but I was too lazy that day. But I'm looking leaner. See the all the muscles in my arm, which is nice. My abs are pretty jacked. And then this was right before I competed. So obviously I was drying out. My veins are all popped out. Looks gross as hell, but I love it. It's like the best feeling ever because you feel like complete garbage. Because dieting sucks. Dieting is the worst. You don't. You're just tired. You don't want to eat, but you have to eat 6, 7 times a day. Then you have to train. Then I was doing cardio in the morning, which I never do cardio because I hate cardio. I usually just try to diet harder instead of doing cardio. But this one, I actually, which a lot of people quit drinking um before they do a show. I'm pretty sure I went out the night before these pictures and I was drinking vodka seltzer because I don't like to have carbs when I drink. Anyways, I woke up and I was dry as hell. Like every vein was popping out and it was pretty sweet. So there's a tip. You want to lean out. And then I did my show. I ended up winning the heavyweight class. I weighed in at 210. It was actually a large class at that show for heavyweights. I think there was like 8 of us, which is kind of odd. Usually light heavyweight is the most stacked class for whatever reason. Everyone falls into that weight class. At this show there was like 8 or 9 heavyweights, which is a ton, and they were all like every guy was like jacked. Like they all dieted, they all look good. So like going back and like I hadn't competed in I don't think I competed in like 5 or 6 years before this one. I was backstage and I was like, God damn, why did everyone show up to this show? Like I'm just trying to like get my groove back, get my vibes back, and then everyone shows up. But I ended up winning the heavyweight class, which surprised me. But then looking at photos afterwards, I would say I won on uh, my conditioning was slightly better and my shape was slightly better. That was about it, but it was close. It was a super close one. But I won heavyweight and then I won the overall. And I actually won this little award over here, which was most muscular, which I just wanted this trophy because it's Zeus and it looks like cool as hell. I have it in my living room, or you can see it over here too. But I won that. I won some trident thing, some medieval mask. I don't know what it is, but yeah, they loaded you up with stuff. But I was surprised I won the most muscular because I was heavyweight, but I was probably the lightest one in the heavyweight class at 210 because I was right in the middle. But I know guys. Well, I guess I thought I was the shortest, but looking at pictures, there's a couple guys shorter than me, which was surprising, and I think they weighed more than me, which you know that's pretty crazy. But I ended up winning that, and I was stoked about it. It was a good comeback, I guess. And then here's a video. This was I think a couple weeks before the show, so I wasn't all the way lean, but I was pretty lean. Just to give you an idea of what I look like. Uh, it's hard to tell in photos, but if you see like the muscle moving and so on, yeah. So I was semi jacked. So that's what I'm gonna do again for you guys. I'm gonna show you everything, all the basics, easiest way to diet, easiest way to train. You don't have to do a bunch of crazy shit. If you don't like doing cardio, you will love me because I rather diet a little bit harder, cut out some more carbs, do less cardio. I only like to pound cardio maybe the last uh 2 weeks before competition, but just to get an overall lean physique or gain some muscle, just a good sleeper build. I can show you everything that goes along with that. I'll be posting simple workout routines to start off with, and then I'll be going over what I do. It's hard to find exactly what works for everyone. Everyone's biomechanics are completely different. So I'm not going to say do this workout. I think everyone should go into the gym, and if you're training arms, uh, just do as many different arm movements as you can for bicep and tricep. And while you're doing them, just use lighter weight and just see which one feels good. Like if you can contract your bicep or tricep and it feels good and there's blood flowing to it and it just feels engorged with blood, like that's a good movement. If you're doing it and anything hurts, if your elbow hurts or it feels like it's pulling on your bicep too much, like it's gonna tear off, I would just stop doing it. The worst thing that can happen is tearing a muscle, and I I just believe volume works just as well as lifting crazy amounts of weight. Because who wants to like blow out their knee? It's a hobby. Like you're not making money off of it. It's not like I don't know. You're not gaining anything. Nobody's gonna respect you more. Well, maybe if you're a power lifter and you're squatting 1,200 pounds or something, maybe some dude will respect you a little bit more. But you blow out your knee and you gotta miss work, miss this, miss that, so on. It's not good. So, volume is my big go-to. Obviously, you want to use a good weight that's gonna tear the muscle, but higher reps, I will preach them till the day I die because it'll keep you healthy. Anyways, that's the end of the show. Just wanted to go over how I got started, my background, and what I'm going to be doing with this show. I'm just going to be doing a transformation Q&As. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. If you want to follow along, just hit the subscribe button, hit the like, just give me a follow, and I will be answering any questions in the comments, or I will have a Q&A episode from time to time, just common questions, answering for everyone, and all that. So, have a good day, guys. Bye.